What is up guys, welcome to Cerny Gaming. If you want to help support the channel, then go ahead and hit those like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Choosing your character's starting traits in Starfield can seem daunting. Each one provides you with a special perk of some kind, but each one also has a drawback, and it isn't always clear how much this drawback will actually affect you throughout your game. Now you can choose not to have any traits if you wish, but that's boring, so let's take a look at the top 3 traits that I recommend to get you on your way. Now the first one that I recommend is Wanted. Now this one seems like one of the scarier ones because the prospect of having gangs of mercenaries showing up all the time to take you out sounds like a pretty hefty inconvenience. I wouldn't worry though, on the odd occasion that they do show up, they don't really bring enough muscle to pose any kind of a threat. In fact, these guys here tried to get me to pay them off instead of fighting, and I even had the option to intimidate that price down just for choosing the Ronin background. In the end I opted to unalive them, but it's good to know that the Path of Peace is available, I guess. And besides, the extra loot was nice and can always be sold off. That, on top of the passive damage boost at low health that this trait actually gives you, makes this perk more than worth it in my opinion. Next up is either the Introvert or Extrovert perk, depending on how you like to play. Oxygen is this game's version of stamina from previous titles, and having more of it available in combat is incredibly useful. Despite that, there is a downside. If you choose Introvert, you gain that boost when you are alone or travelling with a robot, but living companions will have a slightly debilitating effect instead. Now the opposite is true of the Extrovert trait, whereby travelling with living companions will instead have the positive effect, and being alone will have the negative effect. On occasion you may be forced to travel with a companion, meaning if you chose Introvert you will occasionally lose your perk automatically, just for a while. Similarly, it can be expected that at some point later in the game, there may be areas that you must traverse alone, meaning companions won't be able to come. I personally feel that it's still worth it as long as you know what your kind of playstyle is going to be. Now I would go with Extrovert simply because I want to experience as much of the game as possible, including how interesting its companions may be. Our final best trait is even a bit more of a choice. You can only choose either Neon Rat, Freestar Collective Settler or United Colonies Native. If you choose one, you will gain better rewards from quests in its respective area, but higher bounties for crimes in the other areas. That's a fair trade-off unless you plan to cause all kinds of criminal mischief across the cosmos, in which case this one may be a bit of a liability. Gaining better rewards for your quests will help you develop your character and get access to much more effective loot and a lot more resources. I originally grappled with the idea of going with alien DNA instead for more combat effectiveness, but felt that having to pump skill points into medicine to offset the healing reduction was just too much commitment, whereas one of these is almost negligible. An honourable extra fourth mention goes out to the Adoring Fan trait, which is an awesome addition to the game that will bring some nostalgic memories back for long-term Bethesda fans. Our beloved and hated Adoring Fan first made his appearance in Oblivion as a follower and worshipper of your character for completing the arena. While his appearance in Skyrim is often overlooked, if you read Cicero's journals, it is revealed that he too may well be the Adoring Fan, with details of the murder of the arena's grand champion, that's your character in Oblivion, which we're going to assume takes place after the events of the Oblivion Crisis and before the events of Skyrim. And now he's here in Starfield as our newest Adoring Fan. If you choose this perk, he will show up somewhere in Atlantis, and if you take him into your crew, you will occasionally get gifts from him with varying usefulness. Whether or not he is worth it depends on whether or not you can tolerate his ceaseless, frankly disturbing jammering. I can't, but I won't deny his usefulness as a pack mule. And that should be all that you need to know to pick the most effective trait for your first character. Now this is not a definitive list, and all of them are useful in some way or another, so do experiment and see what works best for you, but these are the ones that definitely work best for me. Thanks very much guys. If you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts in the comments section below.